Hello, are we live? Are we live? Let me make sure that my volume is down in Facebook so I don't get a double Gwen. Good morning. I'm so excited to see you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited about the portal. Let me tap into Uncensored and let's just, I see myself. Perfect. Okay. Yay. And I see you guys. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. How are you? Let me, first of all, welcome you into the Uncensored community. This is something that I've been dreaming of building, and I have built communities in the past, and I felt like there were things missing. So this is a brand new refresh for us here in the Uncensored community. And to give you a little bit of a background as to why it's called the Uncensored community, because let me tell you, when I tried to make the link for this group and it was like facebook.com/uncensored, Facebook was like, no, you will not be able to use the word uncensored. So I had to call it Uncensored, the brand, because that's what I'm building. The Uncensored Woman, the Uncensored brand. And this is all about, for me, stepping fully into who you are without giving a fuck about what anyone else says, what anyone else is doing. We're not comparing, we're in our own lane, and we are running with the mission and the message that we have. We're confident, we trust ourselves, right? And there's no destination, honestly, to becoming the Uncensored Woman. I think that it's a journey that we are continually on in our lives, always learning, always growing, always expanding. And so my dream for this group, for this space, is that we get to come here for a little bit of extra activation. We get to come here to dive deeper on some of my Instagram posts, do extra trainings, have some free masterclasses in here that don't happen anywhere else, because I want the people who are wanting to become confident, who are wanting to step into their full power, who are wanting to expand and grow, to be in the space where that is happening. We have more fun when we're with like-minded people who are wanting the same things. So this is the Uncensored community. And cheers, welcome. And the portal. So every Tuesday at 10, it's Eastern Standard Time, but it rhymes for me. Tuesday at 10, it helps you remember. We'll be going live inside this group right here on the wall. And then we'll make an entire guide, an entire section where you can tap into that week's live. If you can't make it live, if you want to catch the recording, if you want to go back and write something down that you heard in one of the calls, everything will be kept in the guides section. So this opportunity is for you to ask your questions. Let me pop into the group and see the question thread. So you're going to see a thread. I don't even know if you can see that. It says the portal. And this is the thread. It's highlighted, which means that it's featured at the top of the group. And this will always be the same place where you come to put your questions. I will go to this post every single time before we hop in here on a live and grab the questions from here, depending on how many questions we get. We have just opened this group, right? We're new. It's a newer group, so we don't have a ton of questions to fly through today. But as we grow and as we expand, there might be a time where you put a question in here and it doesn't get answered that day. It doesn't mean that your question won't be answered. I promise you that I'll always answer your question. It just might not be that day. And I have a couple of questions that came through that I'd love to talk about today. Okay. Oh, the other super cool thing, I've got a podcast coming up called Uncensored. And this podcast is going to feature these portal activations, these portal sessions. Good morning, Susan. So if you are an entrepreneur, maybe you don't call yourself an entrepreneur yet, maybe you call yourself a coach or a mentor or a leader, I want you to know, and we're going to talk about this. This is actually one of the questions, like what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a coach? But if you are a coach, you own a business, and you are an entrepreneur, okay? So if you're an entrepreneur of sorts, you are here, you are in the right space. Once we are done with these recordings, we'll be popping them into the podcast. And then for anyone who maybe can't access Facebook and watch it on Facebook, you can pop over to the podcast and you'll be able to catch it and pop in your earbuds and listen there. So here's the question. Here's the number one question. Christy says, I'm claiming my big space. I'm claiming your big space. I'm claiming my big space with you, girl. I am right here cheering you on. I've been watching you and I know what's about to unfold for you and what has been unfolding for you. I tell you just, Christy, I'm going to share your shower story. Can I share the little shower story? It's not explicit. But Christy said the other day that she was in the shower and she just got this download and she wrote it in the steam of the shower door, like on the shower door in the steam. And I'm like, I want a picture of that, because isn't it true that when we're in this relaxed time, when we're not stressed, when we're actually taking the moment to be with ourselves, is when we get those downloads, is when we get those clear thoughts. So it's like, if we know that, why don't we do that more often? Right? So I love it. She wrote it in the steam in the shower. I'm like, that is absolute gold. And then she shared like the brain dump that she had after that. So allow yourself more space. Allow yourself more space. If you feel like you don't have the time, find the time, because what's going to happen is you're going to just continue to not find the time, right? So we have to make the time for those spaces. In fact, I follow a tarot, I guess a tarot reader is what you would call him on YouTube. And he's been 100% accurate on every single tarot card reading he's ever done. So the one that I listened to actually this morning about the month of February was talking about taking time for yourself, how it's just a very important time. I'm an Aries, for Aries to take time, but I absolutely believe that to be true for everyone. And I don't want you to get to the point where you're like, I need a break from life. And then that's finally when you take the time, right? No, I would be like, I'm aware of me wanting to take the time for myself, whether that's in the shower. It's the intention, right? The intention is stepping into the shower and knowing that I'm giving myself the space and the time where I'm not thinking about the to-do list and I'm not thinking about feeding the dog and stoking the stove. Those are things that come to my mind. I'm just with myself. So don't wait until you're at breaking point. In fact, you'll find that you won't get to breaking point the more you prioritize and intentionally take rest, which is just time with yourself. Okay. Are you ready for the question? The question is, what if you didn't get what you wanted from an investment? How do you trust to invest again? Ooh, Susan says, this is this obstacle, taking time for myself and creating space for me. Thank you for the reminder to take it, and also for the shower idea. I feel like, okay, let's get back to the question in a second, but you know how they make those shower crayons for kids? I think we need them for adults. So get yourself a shower crayon, be in there. Any idea that you get, the downloads come in the shower. I'm telling you, it's a magical place. Your body's relaxed, your mind is relaxed. Like, that's when your channel is clear and things can come in. It might not even make any sense to you, but maybe we should make, here's an idea if they don't have it already, adult shower crayons in colors other than like red, orange, yellow, and blue and green. Maybe we can make them to match aesthetics of our bathroom. I'm picturing like black and teal and nude. That wouldn't show up. Anyway, just a thought. Christy says, I changed my shower routine too. I decided to make sure I shower before my kids do in the evening. I get to get ready for bed before they do, and I get to let myself feel at ease. It's all intention. I love that so much. All right. So question again is, what if you didn't get what you wanted from an investment? How do you trust to invest again? This is such a good question. I'm going to start the answer with a story. Because if you're in here, you're an entrepreneur, you have likely invested in something, whether that be a book, whether that be your time to attend a free masterclass, whether that be hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you've invested something at some point. And when we invest, especially the first time, it can be super scary. So my first big investment in a coach, like this was the first time that I decided to hire a coach. I knew I wanted a business of my own. I knew I wanted to do coaching. So a coach that was local, and my husband knew the coach. So my husband worked with the husband of the coach, if that makes sense. And he's like, listen, there's this program. It sounds really good. It sounds like exactly what you've been looking for. So I jumped in, and it was 10 grand. And obviously we had conversation before investing, right? My husband and I had this conversation before investing. And when I came into this program, what I thought in my mind, I had read the sales page a million times. Okay. I had read every post that was made about this investment. I had diligently made sure I knew what exactly, like the feeling of this investment, how long it was, where it was going to be, all these things, right? I knew all the details. And in my head, what I expected and also assumed was that I was going to have someone with their hands in my business, literally telling me what to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, right? Here's how to build a website. Here's how to launch a program. Here's how to do this. Here's how to do this. In my head, that's what I wanted. What this program was not that. It was a lot of learning how to lead yourself. It was a lot of figuring out who you are. It was a lot of the stuff that I probably would not have if those were the things on the sales page. I probably would not have invested because it wasn't what I thought I needed at the time. And so 6 months, I went through that program and I launched my website. I launched my coaching practice, and I gave it 30 days and no one came in. Now, I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I was just starting, right? We all start somewhere. And I shut it down in 30 days. I was like, no one's coming in. This is obviously not what I'm supposed to do. I'm missing the point, and I shut it down. And I had very angry feelings about this investment. I was mad that I spent the money because we didn't have it. I put it on a credit card. And so I was still paying for it after 6 months was over. And I really thought that I was going to get something different from this investment. And so I felt resentful. But it took me a couple of years, honestly, for me to figure out that what I got from that was exactly what I needed. I didn't need the strategy. I didn't need, the how-tos. I had read all the books. I had done all the things. I knew the strategy. I needed more of self-led leadership. I needed more of figuring out who I was. I needed more of sisterhood connection, right? And it took me years to figure that out. When we invest in something and we come out of it and we go, I didn't get what I wanted, it's an opportunity for us to reflect. Number one, on our expectation, right? We can't help but have expectations when we go into something. But when you come out of it and you're like, I didn't get what I wanted, that allows us to be self-aware of our expectations and make sure that we're not putting something out there that isn't actually true. Like if I was like, I expect to come out of this and be making $10,000 months. Now I did. I had that expectation because the woman who was leading this coaching experience was already doing that and well beyond. So I thought, well, I will be in her energy. And so when I come out, I will obviously be doing that. And when I wasn't, I was super frustrated. But I got what I needed. I got exactly what I needed. So when you invest and you come out and you say, you know what, I didn't get what I thought I was going to get, here's a chance for you to reflect on what you did get. So I would go I'm like in your mind, in a journal, like writing down, and ask yourself, what's the golden nugget here? Okay, what did I not get that I thought I was going to get, right? what did I get? What did I get? Because I guarantee you, you got exactly what you needed. Maybe it was just you joined this program, and I say just, but this is actually like a huge realization. Maybe it was just that you joined this program, and the whole reason why you joined this program was so that you could see how you didn't want to lead a program in the future, or how you wanted to lead a program in the future, right? Maybe it was just you getting access to see how another coach or mentor or an entrepreneur ran their containers, and it gave you some ideas. Like, for example, I joined a program, I don't know, a couple months ago, and the program showed me how she set up her YouTube. So it was a bundle. And what she did was she actually took videos from a bunch of her other courses and then put them all in a YouTube unlisted channel. So there was a link specifically to that. And I was like, this is genius. This is genius. First of all, even if I don't get anything from this course, which I already had, even if I don't get anything from this course, I'm getting, wow, this is another way that I can set up a program. I can take videos that have already been taught, pull them together as a bundle, and sell them as something different that go together. High value. So instead of harping on what we didn't get, we flip the script and we start to look at what golden nugget did we get? Because there's always a golden nugget. Where can you run with that? Where can you take that golden nugget back into your business and either lead in a different way because you didn't like how this group was led, or add it to your skill set, or add it to the way that you launch a program or teach or sell, right? Maybe there was nothing missing and you got exactly what you needed. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there people in the world who are not nice people? Yes. Are there people in the world who will scam you? I don't know if any of you are on any of your community Facebooks, but last week we got a message that this older woman succumbed to a scam, where these people called her up and told her that they had her granddaughter was in jail and they needed bail money, and she wired them $6,000. $6,000. And Adam, my husband, said, how does that happen? Like, how do they not know to ask the question? And I said, these people are so smart, right? They tap into your feelings. So are there people who will tap into your feelings and have no intention of actually helping you, but have an intention of taking your money? For sure. For sure. This is awareness. These are things that we learn, right? Lots of lessons. Now, if that had happened to you, what could you do with that information? What could you do with that lesson of, I wired someone $6,000 and it was a scam and a fraud and I'm never getting my money back? What could you do? You could sit with that, wallow in it, become the victim, tell everybody about that story, drag it into the whole rest of your life, like tell anybody who will listen and let that be your identity. Or you could take that lesson, turn around, and teach people how not to get stuck in the same scam that you did, right? Which one will make you feel better? It's not the victim, right? So there's a lesson in every single thing that we do, every investment that we make, everything. Does that make sense? Wasn't that a really good question? I was like, oh, that's such a good question. What's the gold? What's the gold? So as you guys are live, if you have a question that came to mind, if you would like to ask a question on this live, just pop it into the comments. If not, I have one more question that we can chat about today. Let me know. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. I think everyone as an entrepreneur has had some sort of investment story where you're like, I wish I didn't do that. But what's the lesson? What's the lesson? All right. Here's the second question. Let's answer this one. Second question. How do you start when you're not confident to start? It's almost like the chicken and the egg, like which came first, right? The chicken or the egg. You can't start if you're not confident, but how do you start becoming confident if you can't start, if you're not confident? Like, it's this like, which came first? Well, obviously no one's born confident, right? No one's born confident. If they were, I mean, actually, let me take that back. Let me take that back. I do believe we're born confident. I do believe we're born with what we need. And especially if you look at kids, right? Look at any child under 7 years old and look at how they carry themselves and look at what they do. And they don't care what anyone else is doing. They're just acting on impulse, meaning they're just doing what they feel they want to do. So I do believe we're born with confidence. But as we step into the world, we are faced with a lot of obstacles. We are faced with a lot of opinions. We're faced with other people doing other things. And so our confidence starts to dwindle because we start to look around and we go, oh, well, I'm not doing that, so I'm not successful. Or, oh, they're posting like that, I should be posting like that. And then you start posting like that and it doesn't work for you. And you're like, well, crap, something else must be wrong. So how do you start to become confident when you're not confident to begin with? Baby steps. First of all, it's noting that you have the desire to grow and expand. Right? You're like, here I am. Because let me tell you, okay, painfully shy. Hi, I'm Gwen. I was painfully shy. I had my sister asking where the bathroom was for me. I had my sister ordering my food for me. I would not raise my hand in class to answer a question for fear of being wrong, being laughed at, being judged. I had body image issues. I was not confident when I stepped into this space, but I can tell you what I started doing. I started playing. I started playing with live videos. I started just showing up to see what would happen. And my first ones were horrible. Even still to this day, like there have been horrible live videos. Like it just happens. And I'm for sure, no, I can't remember a specific time, but I for sure know that I had times where like my chest was red and I was like so embarrassed after I got off a live call and I wanted to delete it, and maybe many times had deleted live videos. But what started to happen as I started to show up more in that space is that people started to join and they would comment and they would be there. And I'd be like, oh, someone is watching. Well, that feels nice, right? And I would go to gatherings, like family gatherings, or go to the gym and they'd be like, hey, I saw that video that you did. And you're like, oh, you did? Awesome. Right? You have to have a desire first, and the desire has to be strong enough for you to take some wobbly steps. My mentor calls it like baby giraffe legs. Like imagine a baby giraffe standing up and trying to walk for the first time, like legs as long as, I don't know, this piece of wood, like just wobbly and like falling over. There's the stage of baby giraffe legs, and we all have to go through it. We go through it as babies when we're learning to walk, right? Except that at that time, we have our blinders on. We're just thinking about us. We're not looking at the world around us. So what does that mean for you? That means that you've got to shut out the things that don't serve you. And that can look like on social media. Here's a great example. I used to follow 3,000 accounts on my Instagram. Who am I? Like 3,000 accounts. Like I would be on freaking Instagram all day long if I really tried to see 3,000. And then I wouldn't see posts from my friends. And so I started to notice what was happening was that before I would create content, I would pop on Instagram and scroll until I saw something that inspired content inside of me. And then I would post my content. And I was like, oh my gosh, Gwen, these are not like, you're not completely coming from a place inside yourself to post this content. You're looking for inspiration and then posting once you finally find it, when you already have what you want to say inside of you, but you're looking outside of you to see like, oh, well, that was working. Oh, they said that a good way. Oh, I liked the way that post was put together, right? And we use these things as crutches, like literally leaning on crutches to start to show up for ourselves. So what I did was, Instagram has this great feature where you can open up who you follow and categorize it by least interacted with. And so at the top of the page will be all of the people that you haven't interacted with in a while. And I just went through and I started unfollowing. And I was like, I don't even know who that person is. Why am I following them? And if you delete someone and you're like, oh my God, where did that person, I wish I was following. Oh, you can just go back and find them and follow them. But this allows you to see, like, am I using this as a crutch? So the more that you remove these distractions, these crutches, the more that you can show up fully as you, the more that you have the actual capability where you're not influenced by looking outside of you. There are mentors and coaches who I honor and I respect, and they do a great job at what they do. And one day I want to be like them, but I have to mute them on Instagram, or else I find myself going, what are they doing? How are they posting? Oh, they did a carousel post. I should do a carousel post. Oh, they did a reel. I should do a reel, right? This is self-awareness. This is self-awareness. Did I schedule the self-awareness free masterclass? Hold on. I did. And let me tell you when it is, if I can find it. We're going to do a whole class on self-awareness. It's called Self-Awareness is Your Superpower. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, I'll come back to you guys at the date. Self-awareness is your superpower. Self-awareness is having the awareness that you are distracted. Having the awareness that you are not showing up fully as yourself. Having the awareness that these things do not support your highest good, and so therefore you're going to remove them. I don't even know how we got started talking about this. How do you start when you're not confident to start? Baby steps. Self-awareness, removing distractions, removing things that do not serve your highest good. Here's another example. How do you start when you're not confident? You can put, I mean, if we're just going to talk about social media, you can put limits to how much you scroll. You can literally, oh, I just had a friend tell me yesterday, here's a great little activation, a great little step that you can take. She said, our brains and our bodies get so used to habits that on our phone, we have like this cycle that we go through. So we'll open our phone and we're like, oh, text messages. Okay, let me check my unread text messages, close. Oh, Facebook, let me check Facebook. And then from Facebook, we go to Instagram. And then from Instagram, maybe it's Time Hop. And then from Time Hop, maybe it's, I don't know, TikTok. I deleted that crap. I can't have that on my phone. And we get in the habit of literally going in the same direction every single day through the same movements every day. So what she said she does is every once in a while, she'll switch up the order of her apps so that when you go to then look for your Instagram, it's in a different space and it stops you. And it allows you to have a thought about, ooh, do I want to actually go find my Instagram app? Or am I just doing this because I'm stopping myself from doing something else? Right? Self-awareness is the biggest thing. I cannot wait to do that masterclass with you guys. Self-awareness is my superpower. Okay. So how do you start when you're not confident to start? You just decide that you're going to take one step today. You're going to suck a little less today than you did yesterday. You're going to suck a little less today than you did yesterday. All that matters is this much, this teeny tiny amount. And it's the desire to do that. As soon as you lose the desire, you're not going to move. You're not going to take action, right? So if you have a desire to grow your business, to show up, Christy is the perfect example. She had that download in the shower. Then she got out of the shower. I don't know if she got dressed first or what, but she took out a piece of paper and she brain dumped on it. And then she took that piece of paper and she made a landing page. Nothing might be attached to it yet, right? But she took an action because she desires for this in her life and her business. She desires to create in her towel, she says. She hadn't even gotten dressed yet. And she brain dumped this and then she put it on a landing page. She took action, even if she wasn't confident enough yet to launch it, even if she wasn't confident enough yet to talk about it, she took a step that would aid her in her confidence. So it's just about taking teeny tiny little steps and having the desire to show up for yourself. Because when you have the desire to show up for yourself, you will do anything. When you love yourself, even just a little more today than you did yesterday, you will commit to showing up for yourself because you know that that's worth it. You know what that feels good. She says it's still coming soon, but now I've got a few emails. Yeah. It's a process. And I'm not telling you that each of those steps is not scary. I'm not telling you that. Yeah, there's fear. There's fear in putting our stuff out there. There's fear, right? But the more aware we are of our fear, the easier we can triumph over it. The easier we can see the red flags, the easier we can remove the distractions, the easier we can just decide to go, to move, to suck a little less today than you did yesterday. So, yeah, that's what I think. How do you start when you're not confident to start? Because here's what I know about my live videos. They have certainly gotten better. They have certainly gotten better. And I am not looking to be judged or qualified or like receive a score on my live videos. I don't care. I used to care. I don't care. I come on and I speak my mind because I want to come on and I speak my mind. I don't really care what I look like. I don't really care if I stumble over my words. I don't care if for the first 5 minutes I had my microphone off. All of these things have happened and I'm alive. And I'm more confident now than I was when I did them. So start. I love you guys so much. These questions were fire. If during the week you're like, oh, that would be such a good question to talk about on the portal with Gwen, just pop into the featured post, put your question in there, and then we'll get to it in the next round. If you know someone also, if you have friends who are entrepreneurs, if you know someone, I really intend on giving this space a lot of value, a lot of heart, a lot of me. I want women winning. I want them to feel so powerful because they are. I want us to link arms and do this together and support each other. And so I'm here to answer the questions. I'm here to bring the value. I'm here to walk with you as we go on this entrepreneurship journey together, because I will tell you what, it is the hardest thing I've ever done. Maybe, newborn stage was pretty hard for me. Entrepreneurship, it's kind of on the same level, like emotionally, physically, it's hard. But why do we do it? Because we have a dream, because we have a desire. And we know that if we don't act on it, we're the only ones who can bring that specific mission and message to life. There's no one else like us. There's no one else that's going to do it for us. We have to stand up and go out there and do it. And that's why I created this group, community, sisterhood. So if you know someone who would thrive in this space, please feel free to let them know about it, share it with them, invite them in, and these protocols will just be fire. So I love you guys so much. Susan says, because my why is bigger than me and my fears. Yeah, you were born on purpose. You were dropped into this world for a reason, right? Like they were just like, I think I'll make a Susan Gardner. She'll just get by. It'll be great. No, they were like, I'm going to make a Susan Gardner. And she's going to have this mission and this message, and she's going to go forth regardless of fear, because her why is bigger than me. Not me. Her why is bigger than her. My why is bigger than me. All right. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you. I will see you next week in the portal. Please check the guides for the recording. And also, you're going to start to see some other guides taking place in there. Good content. Good content. All right. Have an amazing Tuesday. I'll see you next week.